Hello everyone, I'm Maria and welcome or welcome back to my nook. Since the year of 2023 is slowly coming to an end, I want to use this video to talk about some of my reading plans I have for the next year, 2024. It honestly feels kind of wild to say that. And I have to tell you that it took me a long while to even start thinking about reading plans I have for 2024. That being said, full disclaimer that this is not really a TBR. I don't want to call it a TBR because if I ever do TBRs, they're very fragile, very tentative, and they're more of a list of potential books I could pick from in a month or a year than I am planning on definitely getting to these books. TBRs are kind of difficult for me since I am way more of a mood reader and my reading can change by the day, by the week, by the month, depending on my life circumstances that can change every week, every month, or my mood obviously, and then of course book club picks that are picked every single month, and depending on whether or not I want to pick up those, and then also some holds I have going at the library all the time, and depending on when they come through or don't come through, they might change my reading plans, you know. So all the TBRs I do are more of books that I have on my peripheral view and that I've got my eyes on so that I can have a choice of books that I might pick from whenever I am in a certain mood for a certain genre, or whenever I don't really know what to pick up next or something like that. So that's kind of what these reading plans are too. So there's really no guarantee at all that I will get to any of the books I am talking about in this video. Actually, some of them I'm pretty sure I will get to in 2024, but still, no guarantee. So it's just an idea, a couple of thoughts I'm having of books I would wish to get to. It's more of a want and a wish than a plan. That's what I'm trying to say. So I will first talk about some book series that I would like to continue, and then I'm going to talk about some authors that I would like to pick up more books from, or that I would like to pick up for the first time. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first book series I want to mention is the Brotherband series by John Flanagan. This is a companion series to the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan, and I started reading this series for the Ranger's Apprentice readathon hosted by Cassandra and her friend Rosalie. And I think I want to continue this series. I'm not sure if the Ranger's Apprentice readathon hosted by them will continue in 2024, but I think I will want to continue this series. I already ordered the second book, but it hasn't come in the mail yet, and as far as I'm enjoying the series, I think I will want to continue it in 2024. If you don't know, the Brotherband series, as I already mentioned, is a companion series to the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. And this series follows Hal and some of his friends. They're Scandians, which is a country that exists in the same world as Araluen, which is the country that Will, the main character from the Ranger's Apprentice series, comes from. And in Scandia, it is a custom that boys of 16 or boys that turn 16 in a specific year start attending Brotherband training. It's kind of a military training almost. They basically start training to become a warrior or like sailors. They train in all kinds of ship things, like how to navigate with stars or the sun, how to go about tasks on a ship. They also obviously train in combat, that kind of stuff. And that's basically what this first book is about. I'm not quite sure what the overall series is about because, as I already mentioned, I only read the first book, but that's the general idea of this series. By the same token, I think I will also continue the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. This is the 7th book in the series, and the next I would read would obviously be the 8th book, but I haven't done that yet because I've been following the Ranger's Apprentice readathon so far. So the next book I would pick up in the series would be the 8th one. I'm not quite sure when I will do that because, again, I don't know if the Ranger's Apprentice readathon will continue. If yes, I will follow the Ranger's Apprentice readathon reading order. If not, I'll just see in which order I'll read the books. If I'll continue the Brotherband series first or continue the Ranger's Apprentice series first, I'll see. But I definitely want to continue and hopefully finish this series. Maybe not finish it in 2024, but hopefully continue it at least. By the way, for the people out there that don't know what the Ranger's Apprentice series is about, it is basically about Will. He is our main character. He grew up as an orphan, and in this world that he lives in, or at least in this country that he lives in, there is a so-called Ranger Corps, and they do a lot of tasks for the king. Like, they're assigned to different fiefs and try to keep the fiefs safe and help the people living in the fiefs, that type of situation. And sometimes they're being assigned on tasks, a lot of things basically. And in the first book, Will is being chosen to train as a ranger and become a ranger, and this series is basically about that and a lot of other things. I just realized that it's really hard to summarize what this whole series is about because there's a lot of books in this series and a lot of the books are about a lot of different things, you know? But that's kind of a general idea about what this series is about. A series I genuinely want to get back into. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get back into this series, and I really dislike that I haven't managed it yet, is the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. I've got the 5th, 6th, and 7th book at home. The 8th book I do not own yet, and the 9th book comes out in March, I believe. I read the 4th book in the series, Dangerous Collaboration, in, was it August? I think it was August, and absolutely loved it. I love this series so much. I loved every single book I read in this series so far. But then I just had so many other books that I wanted to get to that I kind of didn't have time to pick up the 5th book yet. But I really want to. I really want to get back into the series and catch up with it, hopefully before the 9th book comes out. I don't know if I'll manage that, but maybe I can. I just really want to get back into the series because I miss Veronica and Stoker so much, honestly. So for the people that don't know, even though I've talked about the series so much already on my channel, this series follows Veronica Speedwell. She is basically a lepidopterist, I think is the word for it. And that's someone who works with like butterflies and moths, and then she gets tangled up in a whole scheme of like someone trying to get to her and abduct her, and then there's a murder happening, and she meets this guy Stoker, who is what is the term? I don't remember, but he's basically someone who works with dead animals and prepares them. Taxidermy? he does like taxidermy stuff. I think that is the term I was looking for. So that's what he's doing. And as I already mentioned in the book, they get tangled up in like a murder and stuff like that, and they start working together and start solving crimes and mysteries together, and it's a slow burn romance, and I love them so much. They basically solve one mystery or crime in each book, and I want to get back to them so badly. Honestly, I hope I will manage that in 2024. Another series I want to continue is the Spy Family series by Tatsuya Endo. I have so far read the first 5 volumes and pretty much enjoyed all of them. I think the 5th volume was my least favorite so far, but I really enjoyed the first 4 volumes, and I think so far 11 of them are out, or maybe only 10. Something like that. But I just really want to continue that series, and I think I'll manage to, because they're manga, they're really quick reads and easy to read. I just am always waiting for my holds for them to come in, because I'm reading them via my library, via Libby. So I just have to wait for the holds to come in, and it's not entirely on me when I can pick them up, you know, but I definitely want to continue that series as well. Another sort of series, but more world, I would like to get back into is the Grishaverse by Leigh Bardugo. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy and Six of Crows in April this year, and then I read Crooked Kingdom, the second book of the Six of Crows duology, in, I think it was May, and I had planned on picking up King of Scars immediately after, or like very soon after, but as you can see, I have not yet. So King of Scars, as far as I know, follows Nikolai Lantsov, who is a character that we meet in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and he becomes a big character because he is a big character in this world. I don't want to say too much. I really enjoyed his character in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I just really enjoyed his character. I also really enjoyed his character in the Shadow and Bone show on Netflix. So I just really want to read this duology that's about him, as far as I know. I don't really know what this is about at all, pretty much, but I know where he left off at the end of the Shadow and Bone trilogy, like where his character was left off, and I want to see what happens with his character, you know. And as I already mentioned, I just enjoy his character. I love him so much, so I want to pick up this book. I don't really care what it's about. I mean, I do care what it's about, but like, I don't need to know what it's about in order to want to pick it up. That's what I'm trying to say. So I am hoping I can get to this in 2024, finally. And now we're on to authors that I would like to pick up more books from in 2024, or pick up for the very first time. We have V.E. Schwab, and I am holding up Gallant right here because this is the only V.E. Schwab book that I have on my shelves that I haven't read yet, but it's not the only book that I want to pick up by her, so it's kind of a representative. You know, I just have read so many books by her already, not that many. I read the Shades of Magic trilogy last year in November, and then I picked up the Steel Prince graphic novels by V.E. Schwab in December, and I read the Monsters of Verity duology in March and April this year, and the Fragile Threads of Power in September, October, back when it came out. And so far, I have absolutely loved every single one of the works I have read by V.E. Schwab so far with all my heart and soul. That's 6 full-length novels and 3 graphic novels that I absolutely enjoyed by her. So if not that, then what is a good reason to pick up more books by the same author, right? So I just really want to pick up more of her backlist books, I think you would call them, fully knowing that not all of them will be for me, and some of them might be disappointments or I might not enjoy them, but I just want to pick them up. I absolutely know that, especially considering that V. Schwab has been in the book business for 10 plus years, not all of her books will be the same. Some of her books are vastly different from others, from what I've heard from other people, which is completely natural, or for most authors, it's completely natural, especially depending on how they work, how their creative processes work. It's so normal that works change because the world changes, times change, people change, creative processes change, minds change, ideas change, you know, all of that, and tastes change. So it might also be that had I picked up a specific book by V.E. Schwab in 2022, I might have enjoyed it, but if I pick it up in 2025, I might not enjoy it, you know? But who knows? I just want to try more of her books and see if I will love more of her work, because as I already mentioned, I already loved so many of her works. So I think it would be a waste to not pick up more of her books. So Gallant will be one of those. I already own a copy of it. I bought this one used, but it's in pristine condition. But I also really want to pick up Vicious and possibly The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, maybe even her other works at some point, but those three are like on the top of my list of V. Schwab books I would like to pick up. And then obviously her new releases whenever she releases her next book. In 2024, one of my favorite romance authors, Emily Henry, will release a new book. It is called Funny Story. I don't remember when it's going to be re-released, but I want to pick up that one as well. Ali Hazelwood is also releasing a new book. It's called Not in Love, and I would also love to pick that one up, as well as her YA debut novel. It's called Second Mate. It came out in November this year, and I just haven't managed to pick it up yet, but I would really like to check it out. Then there's Holly Jackson's newest release in 2024 called The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which I am really looking forward to. I cannot wait to pick up Holly Jackson's newest release. Five Survive was not really for me at all, but I love the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series so much. Speaking of new releases, I would also like to pick up the sequel to Godkiller by Hannah Kana. I read Godkiller in November this year, and the sequel Sunbringer will come out in February, and I would really like to pick that one up, as well as the third book in Olivie Blake's The Atlas series, I think it's called. The book is called The Atlas Complex, and it comes out in January. It'll be the finale to the series as far as I know, and I really enjoyed The Atlas Paradox, the second book in the series actually, so I'm looking forward to that release as well. Now on to authors that I would like to pick up for the first time, and those are, for example, Cassandra Clare. This is Clockwork Angel, and it is the only book by Cassandra Clare that I own physically, but it is not the book that I want to read first by her, because I do want to dive into her Shadowhunter universe, but not by starting with Clockwork Angel. I think I want to start with, what is it called? City of Bones? I bought this book not knowing too much about the Shadowhunter universe, and only after buying this book I looked up more like guides on how to read the Shadowhunter universe, and I also checked out Cassandra Clare's website where she put a whole guide with like 2 different methods to read the Shadowhunter universe. City of Bones is the best way to start with the Shadowhunter universe as far as I have gathered, so I'll want to start with that book, but this one is acting as a representative for me wanting to dive into Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter universe. An author I have been dying to pick up is Brandon Sanderson, but I just have not managed to. I really want to start reading Warbreaker as the first book of Brandon Sanderson that I'll read, because it is a standalone novel and it has a really interesting concept, in my opinion. Like the synopsis of the book really intrigued me, and I would really love to start with that book if I dive into Brandon Sanderson's novels and his worlds and everything. But I would really love to dive into his books and possibly also read the Mistborn series and maybe Tress of the Emerald Sea, and also, what is that other book called? The Frugal Wizard's Guide to Surviving Medieval England or something like that. It's a mouthful, honestly, but that book also sounded really interesting. I just want to dive into Brandon Sanderson's work, and once I have read one book by him, I'll decide if I want to read more by him. And then the last mention in this video is a book that I had already put on my 2022 TBR, and I have already owned this book for longer than that. I made some progress in it in 2022, made some progress in it in 2023, but I still have not finished it, and that is because this book is a chunker. I own the complete Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This book is absolutely huge. It is a brick. I could probably knock someone unconscious with this book, and I'm not even kidding. This has over 1,000 pages. It's 1,077 pages, but like, these pages are, look at them, they're bigger than my head, right? And the writing on these pages is so incredibly small. Look at that. Honestly, if you would print this book, this collection of all the Sherlock Holmes stories in the way that like romance books are printed usually, you would probably get, I don't know, 300 more pages still. So this is a lot, and I have to be in a very specific reading mood to make progress in this book. But I definitely want to finish all the Sherlock Holmes stories at some point, so that's why I am putting it on my want to read, maybe, possibly list for 2024 as well. I'm hoping I can get to this book at some points throughout the year. And now those were all the books that are in my peripheral view for 2024 and that I might reach for at some point during the year. Of course, I have more books that I would possibly like to get to, but I don't want to make this list too long because I already don't think I will get to all the books that I already mentioned. So I don't want to disappoint myself too much, right? But anyway, I will let you guys go now. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe let me know down in the comments what are books that you would like to get to in 2024, or you can tell me anything else you would like to tell me. I am all ears. And other than that, I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet or in my next video. Bye!